All right, so one of the things that I wanted to talk about that I've been thinking about for the last 2 to 3 months has been simply this, creating margin in your life. I was just watching the assistant pastor at my church talk about this, and typically when you think about creating margins, you always think about financial margins. How can you create a margin of error is what we also hear about in our life. And when we say margin for error, we always think of, okay, well, if we're talking about margin for error, that means we know we're planning that we're going to be making mistakes. And how do you create margin? Well, you live below your means financially, or you make less mistakes or take less risks in whatever it is area that you're trying to create a margin in. In real estate, I think that's really important because what creating margins allowed me to do last year and is allowing for me to do this year, and hopefully as I continue to sell real estate, is to simply be able to allow for my mistakes. Okay, so it could be a mistake in a hire, it could be a mistake in maybe misevaluating a listing. And here's where I was talking to another agent, and this is where it kind of came up, and I just love this because my response was pretty quick because it's in my head and I'm thinking about it all the time. So the question was, aren't you a little bit nervous about a listing appointment, a high-end listing appointment that you're going on, which I'm going on today? And I said no. And he said, well, that's interesting. Why would that be? And it's because I have created more appointments. I have another listing appointment this week, and the more appointments you have, the more appointments you go on, obviously the more comfortable you are, but you are also creating to have to not have the need. You're creating a margin to not have the need to negotiate your commission during the listing, or to forego a certain thing, or to submit yourself to the seller during the listing because you need the money. You need to just be whatever it is that they're wanting you to be. And they're setting the anchor of the conversation before you even had a chance to put it in the sand. And that's what we don't want to happen. And you're able to do that and go into a listing appointment more confident if you have margin in your business. And I'm not saying that I'm where I need to be in my business and where I want to be in my business, but what I am trying to practice is surplus. I'm trying to live in the profit zone, in the area where in my business I do not need a listing. If they want to lowball me on my commission, and or one of my favorites is they want you to be like a servant, and they're telling you and they're mandating you to do this, that, and the other, and you know it's going to go that way the entire sale. You, my friends, have the ability to turn that seller away before they even had a chance to hire you. You fired them. And you can only do that when you can afford to do that. And how do you afford that? Well, you live in the profit zone, in your margins. And it's not hard, but it's discipline. With your money, with your earnings, however fast you want to get to a certain place in your business, the faster you want to get to your surplus, your margins. You want to create margins for error. In real estate, we have insurance for realtors that is essentially called errors and omissions insurance. Our broker carries that for us. We pay a monthly fee for it. And why do we do that? Because we know that mistakes are going to be made at some point. We just don't know what they're going to look like. So we're planning for those mistakes. We're planning that margin. And so when you are able to plan margin into your life, whether it be life in general or your business, in this case business, you have more flexibility, you have less stress, and you're not living for the sake of commission on whatever this and hanging by the seller saying yes or no. You don't have to work for the sellers that are angry and stressed out themselves, and you can change your life. Thanks.